Hi, I'm Casey Canlis, and I'm a research operations leader. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about democratized research operationalized. So you may be wondering, what is democratized research? It's not something new. Everybody wants it and they want it right now. It's essentially how you can upskill someone, and there's quite a large range of what it could actually mean. So when my manager came to me and he was like, I have a new goal for you. I think that we should do research democratization. I was like, I'm on board. Level up everyone's skills in research. That sounds great. I'd done this before successfully. I looked through my roadmap and I was like, yeah, sure. I can fit this in here. I'll make it happen. So how did I do it? I didn't. I had to consider several factors. And if any of these weren't right, it would make success that much harder. And while it's a bummer that this didn't work, I learned what was needed in the future for it to work. So I want to share all of that with you. The first factor is time. It was halfway through the year. I'd already accomplished a lot of what I had on my roadmap, but I hadn't realized how many of my items were actually not one and done. So I would accomplish it, but then there was still something that might need to be done. I'd have tools procured, but then we'd still have renewals or we need to track usage. And the amount of effort to not only set up research democratization, but to improve it and maintain it, as any operations person knows, you can't know the unknown. You don't know what's going to show up in your backlog without any warning and maybe need more of your time. And in my case, this was a huge factor that came into play. We had a team of two. I had hired somebody to handle participant management, but they still needed training. They still needed guidance. And we had a big panel launch coming up. And then there were two of us, and we were juggling 12 recruitment efforts at a time. So that's quite a lot already. And we had procured tools, but there was still usage to track, accounts to set up, training, and there was a little day-to-day problem solving that you never knew what was going to show up on your desk to fix. And so competing priorities meant that something needed to be pushed back. And in this situation, it normally means that you focus on the time-sensitive items. Those will always prevail. So factor number two is recognizing your environment. What is your company focused on? Where do their priorities lie? Are they thinking about delivery and showing impact right now? Or are they focused more on looking at the horizon and thinking about long-term stability and growth? Because if it's in the delivery and deliver stage, you're going to have trouble with leadership buy-in from both research and design. Because, for example, if you have somebody that is a designer that's being trained and upskilled, that takes away time that they could be delivering certain things to their product teams. And the maturity of both teams also needs to be there as well. There needs to be a foundation in place where design and research leadership agree that they can dedicate the time and they can dedicate the resources to having an upskilled organization. So factor number three is about being clear and impactful. All leadership involved need to agree on what democratization means for right now. As I said before, there is a huge range of what democratization could mean. It could be making insights available to the company so they have more informed decisions in the future. It could be training designers or whoever may be interacting with customers how to ask the right questions. So what you need to think about is, at first, start small. You can have the greatest idea, like the most phenomenal research democratization in mind, but when you start out, you want to make sure that you say, what is the smallest amount of effort I can have in order to show impact? And you also need to have both sides agree on what is the measurable impact. Because it's important to show that you maybe have the most wonderful resources that you've created, but if nobody looks at it, then it's not impactful. It's not actually making that change that you want. And factor number four, this is actually the most important and one that I didn't have any trouble with at all. I had an amazing amount of research champions that I could talk to and draw on. These are cross-functional partners. They're the ones that lean into research. I'm sure you can already identify who they are. They're the ones that are always interested in something new. They're known for sharing tips, tricks, They're like your unsung heroes. And the best part about having a research champion or multiple champions is they are the people that are on the inside. They speak the language of who you're trying to talk to. They know your audience. So if that's designers and you have a designer that has been eager to do research, has leaned in on research, that's the perfect person because they'll be able to tell you when something doesn't make sense. They'll be able to tell you how you could work something or how you could change your materials so it appeals more to your larger audience. And so what you want to do is you want to think fun, not funnel. You want to make sure that whatever you create, it's interesting enough to keep their attention and that you're also spreading out the amount of work that you have across everyone. So talk to your research champions, encourage them to give you feedback, help them level up their skills and tell them, speak up if this doesn't make sense. Speak up if it's too wordy or if I've just given you too much material and you can't process it. Like they're willing to learn. They will be your best advocate for democratization. And because you have such a spread out knowledge across your research champions, they can also help others. So it doesn't just rely on you or the other researchers. So slowly but surely, your funnel will expand and you'll have a lot more people that are able to help upskill others. So should you democratize research right now? One of the things you should think of, time. Do you currently have the time available to plan and implement and maintain democratized research? Environment, when you look around it, do you think that your teams are at a level of UX maturity where this effort will be supported by both research and design leadership? Is there clarity on what democratized research means? And do you know how you will measure it to make sure that it is impactful? Also, where is your company's priorities? Are they in deliver, deliver, deliver? Or are they looking at long-term growth and stability? Because if so, the long-term growth and stability might be a better time to deliver things. And then research champions. Do you have potential champions that could be in design, PM, development, who are already interested in research, already leaning in, already asking questions and trying to figure out something new? If so, take their advice, take their help, and let them upskill so they can help you in the future. And if you answered yes to all of those factors, then go forth, do great things, and hopefully it will work out super successfully, more so than what mine did. And regardless of what happens, share what you have learned to others in our community, whether it works or not, whether it's like, oh, this part was great, this part was not so great. Tell us, tell the community what worked and what didn't, because that's the only way that things will get better. Not everything will succeed, and that's how we learn from it, and that's how we make a better research democratization in the future. Thank you.